I think Golden Years is addressing a really important topic, and in theory, by doing it with comedy, it's going to make people pay more attention. But the style of comedy didn't appeal to me, and the topic is really uncomfortable. Multiple topics are uncomfortable. So I didn't like it, but it's not that it's a bad film. This was released in 2016. It's directed by John Miller. It's written by John Miller, Nick Knowles, and Jeremy Sheldon, with a cast including Lily Travers, Bernard Hill, Mark Williams, Simon Callow, Una Stubbs. Great cast, great performances. The narrative itself, honestly, it made me upset. It made me feel uncomfortable. And I don't think I'm meant to feel those things. But if it makes me feel any strong emotion, then it is doing something right. Arthur and Martha lose their pensions, for the most part, after a company goes into liquidation, which is absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely horrendous that you can pay into a pension your whole life, and then one day that company just goes into liquidation and there goes most of your money. Absolutely horrendous. So that in itself makes me uncomfortable and upset, because that can happen and that's absolutely horrible. So the film raising awareness, I give it so much praise, so much credit, but it doesn't mean I enjoy watching a film about that, because it's too painfully real for some people, and it makes me feel uneasy. And then the other aspect I didn't enjoy, because what they decide to do is rob a bank to take back the money that they believe is theirs. Now, that's not quite how it works with pensions. Your pension's not just sitting there in somebody's bank account doing nothing. But nevertheless, this is their plan. They go and rob a bank to get their money back. And that's also an aspect that I don't like, because, well, needless to say, I don't agree with robbing banks. And it's really uncomfortable when they go into this bank and they are obviously threatening violence to demand money, and there are real people, obviously not real, it's fiction, but there are people in there who would be terrified for their life. And I'm so conflicted, because on the one hand, I really, really felt for them. They lost a lot of money, and yes, most pension providers, if they go into liquidation, as far as I understand, there are backups. Your money wouldn't just disappear overnight, but I think there are times when it could just disappear pretty easily depending on the pension provider. So I can understand their anxiety, their threat, their anger. I know why they're acting this way, but I detest their actions, because they're putting innocent people through a lot of pain and fear. So I had so many conflicting emotions, but all of them were negative. And I feel like that's not what the film wants me to feel. And I don't really know if that's my fault or the film's fault. Is the film giving off a vibe that's not what they intended? It is a comedy, but at the same time, am I just too sensitive? I don't know. Well, yes, I am generally too sensitive, but at the same time, there are many emotional films that I'm okay with watching. I watch many emotional dramas, and I don't think my emotions should have been this negative watching this. So it's kind of a really challenging, difficult watch, but in some ways that's a good thing. For example, it would be terrible if somebody watched this and felt absolute delight when they lost their pension. That would be a really awkward response. But at the same time, did they have to go about getting their money back in this way, or trying to get their money back this way? I didn't like that. It meant that I didn't like them as characters, and it made me care less for them. And it just made me too uncomfortable, and I had too many conflicting but always negative emotions. That's my response. On the plus side, the performances are very good, the camera work and lighting are great, really good use of sound, and the story is well written, it's well executed, the pacing is good. As a narrative, it has a decent amount to offer. So I really, really, really did not like this. The technical aspects are all very well done. I don't know if you'll enjoy it. It depends on how sensitive you are to these topics, and also whether the style of comedy appeals to you. But at the end of the day, all I can say is well done for raising awareness for important issues, because it is something that can happen. As I said, as far as I'm aware, there are protections in place, but that's not always guaranteed. And that thought, coupled with really disgusting behaviour from the protagonists, and the fact that the comedy doesn't appeal to me, means that I didn't really enjoy this at all. There could be an audience for it. They get a lot of credit for addressing an important topic, and if the comedy appeals to you, then I think you might enjoy it. So check it out if you're curious, but personally, for the reasons I've mentioned, I really didn't find it to be a very satisfying experience.